Good morning, students. I am Mrs. Morano. I teach at 4th grade at the Draper 2 campus. Today we are learning lesson 2 of our respiratory system. Today we're going to be talking about the nose, the pharynx, and the larynx. Everybody, you have some review questions in your packet to complete. Please complete those first from lesson 1, and then we will continue on with our word attack. You can go ahead and pause the video now to complete those lesson questions, and then we will go ahead and do our word attack. Now that you are finished with your questions, everybody touch column 1. Your first word is pharynx. What word? Yes, pharynx. Your next word is larynx. What word? Yes, larynx. Your next word is mucus. What word? Yes, mucus. Your next word is esophagus. What word? Yes, esophagus. Everybody, first word. First word, what word, ready? Yes, pharynx. Next word, what word, ready? Yes, larynx. Next word, what word, ready? Yes, mucus. Next word, what word, ready? Yes, esophagus. Top, bottom, pop. Get ready. Pharynx, larynx, mucus, esophagus, esophagus, mucus, larynx, pharynx. You all are amazing, amazing. Everybody touch column 2. First word, epiglottis. What word? Yes, epiglottis. Next word, vocal cords. What words? Yes, vocal cords. Starting over, first word, what word? Get ready. Yes, epiglottis. Next word's what words? Get ready. Yes, vocal cords. Everybody touch vocabulary, touch. Your first word is pharynx. What word? Yes, pharynx. The pharynx, or the throat, what is the other word for pharynx, class? Get ready. Throat. Good. Is the tube in the front section of the neck. So the tube in the front section of the neck is called the what, class? Think, get ready. Yes, pharynx. And what is the other word for the pharynx? Class, think, get ready. Yes, throat. Your next word is larynx. What word? Yes, larynx. The larynx is the voice box. The what, class? Get ready. Yes, voice box, which contains the vocal cords. What contains the vocal cords? What is the name of that part of your body, class? Get ready. Yes, larynx. What is another word for a larynx, class? Think, get ready. Yes, voice box. Your next words are vocal cords. What words? Yes, vocal cords. Vocal cords are two bands that stretch across the voice box and produce sound. Next word is esophagus. What word? Yes, esophagus. The esophagus is the tube in the throat that carries food to the stomach. What is the tube in the throat that carries food to the stomach, class? Think, get ready. Yes, esophagus. Next word, epiglottis. What word? Yes, epiglottis. The epiglottis is the flap of tissue that protects the voice box when food or liquid is swallowed. What do we call the flap of tissue that protects the voice box when food or liquid is swallowed? Class, get ready. Yes, epiglottis. Your next word is mucus. What word? Yes, mucus. Mucus is the thick liquid discharged by the nose. I know some of you are like, ew, but it's science, right? So when you have a cold, that's your body's way of trying to protect yourself. It produces more mucus to get those germs out. So part of our mucus being that thick liquid discharged by the nose, it actually plays a very important role in our respiration. Okay, everybody, we're going to go on to our chapter. So we learned last time that the nose and the mouth are the air passages for air to come in and out of our bodies. Okay, those are those entrances. The nose, though, does more for breathing than just providing a place for air to enter our body. It actually helps warm up that air before it gets into our lungs. So if you've ever been out on a really cold winter day and you breathe in and you can kind of feel that coldness in your lungs, if you're breathing in through your nose actually helps warm it up before it reaches your lungs so it doesn't damage your lungs. Okay, so it is a very important job. It also acts like a filter to trap dust and other particles from the air. So when you are outside and it's a windy day and that dust is coming and you're breathing, it actually traps those particles inside your nose so they don't enter your lungs, okay? Because we don't want things that don't belong in our lungs there. It does this by using lots of hairs, there are little hairs in your nose, and mucus. And what, class, get ready? Yes, mucus. Mucus is sticky and thick and acts as a sort of flypaper. So if you've ever seen, there used to be a long time ago, and they might use them still, but they would hang from the ceiling and they were like orange and they were really sticky and people would use them to trap flies in their house. And so that's called flypaper. And so that's what your mucus does in your nose. It's like a sticky flypaper that traps those unwanted substances that get in your nose, like bacteria, dust, before they get into your lungs. So it's a barrier before those things get into your lungs where they don't belong. So have you ever wondered why you sneeze? Sneezing is like a cough in the upper breathing passages. It is the body's way of removing an irritant from the sensitive mucous membranes of the nose. So you have all these mucous membranes inside your nose, and when you sneeze, it's because something has irritated those mucous membranes, and that is what happens. So a lot of things can irritate the mucous membranes. Dust, pollen, pepper, or even a cold blast of air may cause you to sneeze. All right, so there are two openings of the airways. We already learned about those, the nose and the mouth. And they meet at the back of the throat called the pharynx. The what class? Ready? Yes, pharynx. The pharynx is also known as the throat. As the what class? Ready? Yes, throat. So the nose and the mouth meet at one tube called the pharynx. The what? Yes, pharynx. Which is also known as the what class? Ready? Yes, throat. The pharynx and the throat are part of the digestive system and the respiratory system because it carries both food and air. At the bottom of the pharynx, the pathway for the food and air divides in two. One passageway is for food. It is called the esophagus. The what class? Ready? Yes, the esophagus. That is the passage for food. The passage for what? Yes, food. This leads to the stomach. It leads to the what? Yes, stomach. So what tube leads to the stomach from the nose and from the pharynx class? Think, ready? Yes, the esophagus. The other passageway that is divided is for air. It is for what? So now we're going to learn about the epiglottis. The epiglottis is a small flap of tissue that covers the air-only tube when we swallow, keeping food and liquid from going into our lungs. And if you've ever been eating something and then tried to breathe or talk and it catches right there and you start coughing, that is that epiglottis saying, nope, I don't want this. This is not for this area because it's protecting those lungs. So it's a small flap of tissue that covers the air-only tube when we swallow, keeping food and liquid from going into our lungs. It is called the epiglottis. The what class? Ready? Yes, epiglottis. The next thing we're going to learn about is the larynx. The what? Yes, larynx. Another name for the larynx are the vocal cords. The what class? Ready? Yes, vocal cords. The larynx is the uppermost part of the air-only passage. This short tube contains a pair of vocal cords which vibrate to make sounds. What vibrate to make sounds, class? Get ready? Yes, vocal cords. It consists of folds in the surface of the throat which vibrate to create sound when air passes over them. So when we speak, that's what's happening. We're creating sounds with our vocal cords. When you sing, you create sounds with your vocal cords. When you hum, you're creating sounds with your vocal cords. So the larynx is called the voice box. The what class? Get ready? Yes, voice box. Another name for the larynx is the what class? Get ready? Yes, voice box. Okay, you're going to go ahead and do your lesson 2 homework. Number 1, what helps trap the dust particles that are in the air? Number 2, the pharynx is the. Number 3, the passageway that leads to the stomach is called the. Number 4, the epiglottis keeps food from going into the. Number 5, another name for voice box is, we just learned it. Number 6, what vibrates to make sounds? And number 7, use a complete sentence, please. Which do you think is more important, the mucus or the epiglottis? And why? And I want you to give evidence from the text from your reading today to tell me, which do you think is more important? Maybe you think both are just as important as each other, and tell me why. Okay, good luck on your questions. We'll see you next time.